Alright, I just recorded this and it didn't save, so I love when that happens. So I'll do this one more time. Hopefully, I hit all the same points that I went over the first time. So this movie is Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry from 1974. And I first got wind of this movie when I was watching Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. That was his portion of the Grindhouse film, double feature that he did with Robert Rodriguez. And I really like that movie, Death Proof. Some people don't like it as much. I know Quentin Tarantino thinks it's his worst movie, but I really like it. I think it has some of the best car chase scenes in any movie I've seen. Granted, I haven't seen a ton, but I really like that movie. It's got really strong female characters. And it almost has two portions, two halves. They both have Kurt Russell's character, Stuntman Mike, but the second half has Rosario Dawson, Zoe Bell, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and another actress. She's not a big name actress. But two of them are really big car nuts. They're stunt women, and they really like the old 60s, 70s car movies. And so that part, that half of that movie is based around them going on a joyride in this car that is the same car that's in a movie called Vanishing Point. And then they also discuss a couple other movies. They're talking about, the real car movies, and they mentioned Vanishing Point, the original Gone in 60 Seconds, and this movie, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. So I was always interested to see it, and it popped up on Netflix, still on there right now, so I wanted to watch it, and I did. And it's really good. It stars Peter Fonda. So Peter Fonda just done Easy Rider a couple years before, and he plays the title character Larry. And then he has a partner, Deke, and he's played by an actor named Adam Rourke, who I didn't recognize or anything, but I think he was in a lot of biker gang type movies in the '60s. But anyway, so Larry and Deke starts off, they're about to rob a store. That's how the movie starts. It's a really good beginning, opening scene and everything. I really liked it. And then when Larry is leaving his hotel room, you see that he was leaving behind a woman. And that girl ends up being Mary, Dirty Mary from the title. She's played by Susan George, who I recognized and her name. She was in the Sam Peckinpah movie Straw Dogs with Dustin Hoffman. I think that was a couple years before this as well. So he leaves her, and Larry and Deke are planning on going to rob this convenience store. It's like a big grocery store. And they're going to do that. And it's actually a really good plot, a good plan that they have set up. It's really interesting. It makes you think that, okay, these guys have done this quite a bit. Maybe they're career criminals. They're really good at robbing places like this. But while they do that, while Larry leaves, he leaves Mary behind, and she gets upset that he just walks out. So she ends up following him, and when Larry's coming out of the store, she finds that she's in the car, and she like hides the keys, and she's just bugging him, and he's like, I don't have time for this. So he just ends up taking her with him as he makes his escape. So that's kind of the premise of how she gets stuck with Larry and Deke, and then they end up going on the run. So they're leaving from this convenience store they just robbed, and they have to get away. They're being chased by the police. Vic Morrow is the actor who plays the main cop that's on their tail. I think he's a well-known actor. The thing I recognize him most from is the tragedy that involved him during the Twilight Zone movie filming. There's a really bad tragedy where he died on the filming of that movie. But I think he's a pretty well-known actor. So Vic Morrow, he plays the main cop that is chasing them. And, that's most of the plot. It's just the rest of it's a car chase movie. So they're running away from the cops. They're trying to get over the state lines, But eventually you start to learn more and more about Larry and Deke in particular, kind of their chemistry, and then what they're doing. So originally, I like how they kind of just assume that they're maybe criminals and just always have been robbing places like this. But it turns out Larry is a really good driver. Obviously, he's driving the car the whole time. And he wants to be in NASCAR, but they don't have the money or the bankroll, which is why they're robbing this place. And then Deke is a really good mechanic, so he's going to be his mechanic, and they're going to kind of be a team. And then you also learn that he has some troubles in his past that have got him to this place of robbing a store to get this money as well. Deke's story is kind of interesting. So they kind of have a good story. I like their plots a little bit, but then on the flip side, Mary's is a lot more shaky. Why she's there? She just she's upset that Larry's taking off. Okay, but why she continues to be with these guys? She knows they just robbed a place. There's a couple times where she could leave, and I think eventually at one point she says, "Well, I had nothing better to do," but and it's just kind of flimsy. And it's not like really like a love thing going on. Larry had met her the night before. It was like it was like a one night stand. So it's not like a romantic thing really. A little bit of romance is tried to put in there, but I thought that her plot line was a little shaky and flimsy at best. And there's a couple other times where they actually bring her back. She is clever a couple times to make sure they come back for her, but then there's also another time where she's gonna leave on her own, and they end up having to bring her back. Which, okay, that's a good way to keep her in the film and everything, but it's just kind of a weird character development for her. But yeah, the rest of the movie is really good. I like it. There's some really good chase scenes. There's a part that I like that made the story a little bit more. It made Larry and Deke and them kind of more human. There's a part when they're in a car scene. And you're used to car chase movies and they're just crashing into all these cops and just destroying all these cars and there's really no repercussions. But there's a scene in this that kind of takes that into a serious note. They're just driving through these fields and they hit someone in a truck that's not a cop. And so you're like, they address the fact that they might have killed this guy in the truck that had nothing to do with their car chase or anything. He was just driving on a crossroad. They're driving so fast in these muscle cars. So I thought that was a really good addition. I liked that actually, that they made the characters more human and made it a little bit more realistic. So and the cars are pretty cool. They actually switch cars at one point. I think the original car they're in is an Impala, and they switch over to I'm not sure what it is, like a Challenger or something like that. It's a bright lime green, some black racing stripes. Really cool. And then there's a couple really good scenes at the end, some good chase scenes and some spin outs and whatnot. So definitely a good movie to check out if you want to see a car chase movie. Like I said, originally got wind of it from Death Proof, which is also a really great action and car chase movie. I like that a lot. The only other movie that I've really seen from that period is called Two Lane Blacktop from 1971. That's really good. It's got James Taylor as a driver, and he has a mechanic with him as well. They're kind of doing crossroad races and just racing other cars. That's a nice muscle car chase movie. Then, of course, there's some other movies that they mentioned, like Vanishing Point and maybe like Smokey and the Bandit, something like that. Those are just some other car chase movies. So yeah, I liked it. It's a 3.5 out of 5. If you're looking for just something not too serious, a crime movie with a lot of good car chases, or just a car movie in general. So yeah, it's on Netflix. I'd definitely check it out if you're interested in something like that. So, all right.